I was able to make my work wherever my walking took me. In 1967, by walking, I made a line of footprints, which was both a path and a sculpture. And that gave me the idea that walking could be an artwork. I'm Richard Long, English artist. When I was 17 years old, I began to realise that the world outside the studio was more interesting than the world inside. So then I started making works in fields or woods or along the seashore. My walking has taken me into landscapes all around the world. I walked to the top of Kilimanjaro to make a sculpture on the top. And then some years later I walked down the Mississippi Delta placing driftwood along the walking line. My work is about the things I love. I love walking, I like camping, and I also like the natural materials of the world, like stones, water. I've made hundreds of works about stones. Sometimes I carry a stone in my pocket from one day to the next. One of my earlier walks was to walk across Ireland putting a stone on the road at every mile along the way. So it was called a walk of 167 miles. I like the idea that sometimes my works could be a lot of stones, but they're scattered, across the country. All my work is about the things that give me pleasure. I love empty landscapes. I love deserts. I love mountains. So when I went to the Sahara, by chance it had rained for the first time in years in the Hogar Mountains. And I had a map showing there was only one spring that I could use. But anyway, and because it had rained, there were small pools of water in the mountains. So I was able to walk, a long way, and every day the pools were drying up. And after day 6, they'd all dried up, and that was the end of the walk. I've been making circles in all different ways all around the world, for many years before that. It was not my first mud circle. It's like replaying a concert I made, 20 years ago. If I was a musician, it was nice to repeat the concert. My work is simple. It's just I draw 2 concentric circles on the wall, mix up the mud or the clay, test it to see. I don't really know how it's going to look until I actually put the first, hit the wall, for the first time. I start at the top on the left and come down, do half the work anti-clockwise direction, and then go to the top and come down the other side in a clockwise direction. And I have to work very fast because the clay has to be consistently wet the whole time. Taken all together, all the different forms of my work make a very rich story. There was a film about me once, but I'm not a frustrated filmmaker. I'm very happy to make my work in the world in the way that I do, which includes taking photographs. If I make a beautiful circle in the Andes, for example, it's good for me to take a photograph because then I can show the outside world what I've done. The public needs art. It feeds the imagination, it feeds the richness of life.